Hello, witches and wizards, and welcome back to episode 5 of Potterwatch, the unofficial, voted for by me, best Harry Potter podcast for you. All your news, updates, theories, general Harry Potter talk, everything Wizarding World is covered in here. And of course, each week on a Friday, we break down one chapter of Harry Potter books. We're going to be previewing chapter 3, or breaking down chapter 3 I should say, this week, the letters from Noone. So if that's your sort of thing, of course do subscribe, hit the like button, comment your questions and thoughts, as I do want to include community driven things in these podcasts as well. But for episode 5 today, we're going to be looking at the news. Obviously, Half-Blood Audible book just dropped with all the actors. We're going to be discussing a bit of that. We're going to be looking at the news about Voldemort. Obviously, Ralph Fiennes has said he, at one point, would love to come back, but feels the ship has sailed and dropped a naming. And we're then going to be doing the main part, breaking down how I would do Series 1 of Philosopher's Stone. And then, at the end, we're going to be doing a Sporkle quiz today, the top 200 named Harry Potter characters in the books. So if that's your sort of thing, again, link will be down below the quiz. Tell me how well you did. I'm hoping to aim for about 180. I know there's going to be a few I miss. I've got a tactic. We'll see how well I do. But yes, hopefully you're excited. And do let me know how you break down the series down below as well. So without further ado, I guess, let's just get into things. So yes, let's just get into the sort of roundup of the news. Bit of a quiet week again. I was fooled by a post from discussing Phil for something, obviously the crap that discussing film get a lot of parodies about Owen Cooper being on a shortlist. Obviously, he's been talked about as a good Tom Riddle for Chamber of Secrets. There's been all the stuff about him following all the actors and stuff, but I don't pay attention to things like that. But it was a Variety article from last year about the announcement of the Audible books. So we won't be touching on that. Good job I do fact check these things before going into these. I'm not one of those clickbaity idiots. But yeah, let me know down below, I guess. Would you think Owen Cooper, obviously of Adolescence fame, would make good Tom Riddle in the Chamber of Secrets? Obviously not playing the full Voldemort. We will get into that. Of course, this week we saw the release, speaking of the Audible books, of Half-Blood. I've actually yet to listen to any of these. When it comes to this sort of stuff, I'm a Stephen Fry fanboy. I just love him as an actor. His QI stuff like that, his comedic stuff, and obviously his audiobooks have been a staple of my life for 15 years or so. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm not actually listening to them. I've seen stuff from like Goblet of Fire with Hugh Laurier's Dumbledore. I've seen some stuff, obviously Keira Knightley being Umbridge. I've seen little bits and bobs, and obviously this week we got to see Bill Nighy return to Harry Potter, the first sort of person to return to the series. I guess obviously the girl who's playing Hermione, she's voiced Hermione in the first few, and she's now going to be playing Hermione. But no, we've got Bill Nighy not playing Rufus Scrimgeour this time. Obviously, he does appear in this book at Christmas. He's the new Minister for Magic in Half-Blood. No, this time out, he is Horace Slughorn. He does sound good. Obviously, we got the scene where he's singing Hoard Over Dragon, whatever it is. The Odo song with Hagrid when they get drunk in Hagrid's hut after Aragog's funeral. It does look good. I'm probably doing it to give them a try. Obviously, if you've listened to any of them so far, I know there's 5 out. I do have an Audible membership, so I probably should dip into these. Obviously, do let me know your thoughts on them down below. Obviously, how are you finding them? Are you enjoying them? Are they better than Virginia Dale, Stephen Fry? I'm guessing they are. Obviously, we've got a bit more sound effects, a bit more pizzazz to them. Obviously, it's just the narration part. Like, it just doesn't seem like it should be Stephen Fry. But I've heard, obviously, Arabella, I believe the name is amazing as Hermione in the early ones. So yeah, I probably should give them a try. But obviously, yeah, that is the big sort of news this week. That Half-Blood Prince, the Audible sort of magnificent version, is out, and I'm guessing Death of Hallows will be out next month. So I might try and get into them and give my sort of review each time I finish one in these podcasts. I guess that'd probably be a good thing. And obviously, with reviewing the books, maybe try and give that a listen as a bit of a different experience, like listening to that chapter while reading it, and then I can give my thoughts in the sort of reviews, which I guess listening to all three, just going through reading Stephen Fry, Audible craziness might be a good way to go about it. But that's that. And the other bit of news is, of course, Ralph Fiennes. He was on, I believe, was it with Davina McCall? That sounds about right. If you don't know who Davina McCall is, she is a sort of just a presenter here in the UK. She did like Big Brother stuff like that. If I just go to Ralph Fiennes BBC, so obviously it's the BBC article. Ralph Fiennes reveals whether he returned to Harry Potter. He says that ship has sailed. So it's a Claudia Winkleman. How can I get Claudia Winkleman and Diving and Hall mixed up? Obviously, Claudia Winkleman, famous for lots of stuff. Obviously, now The Traitors. She was asked, obviously, would you reprise your role? And he goes, this was some years ago. And I said, yes, I'd love to. However, he says nothing's happened since, and that ship has sailed. But of course, the CEO of Warner Bros. Has said, Casey Bowles, that he told Variety, or she, they've not yet cast for Voldemort yet. A number of actors have been speculated for the role, including Doctor Strange star Tilda Swinton, which we're going to touch on, Peaky Blinders Cillian Murphy, who's just basically ruled it out. But when you rule something out that vehemently, it's almost like, are you hiding something? But I genuinely believe he is ruling it out. He was asked about Swinton, and Fiennes told Claudia Winkleman she'd be fantastic. And obviously, I wasn't really aware who Swinton was as a person or an actress. And obviously, look at them, I just don't think, like, I actually think he could probably do it. I don't know. In terms of like, Voldemort isn't human. He's not a man anymore. He's not me. If he's always get that voice, but the reason they probably won't do it and touch it with a 10-foot barge pole is obviously the fact we've already had one crazy sort of not controversial with Snape's casting, Papa Sude. I don't think they'd do it again for like Voldemort, the main villain. Obviously, from 4 onwards, just for the noise and the backlash and everything, and just that, I don't think they could do it. And obviously, I love it. I believe they are like trans, from what I've seen. Again, if I am wrong, I'm just reading stuff from Twitter here. I probably should have done a bit more digging to them. Obviously, that opens up a new can of worms with the whole J.K. Rowling and her horrible, crazy, stupid, pathetic views. Of course, they'd make the villain that, and each be like, oh yeah, of course they're the villain. And honestly, I mean, I won't put it past J.K. to be like, yeah, let's do that and just shut up. But yeah, going down another road there. Again, obviously with Tom Riddle, with people, so as long as like Tom Riddle's just like this, yeah, like annoying Cooper or someone else who's that sort of age, and yeah, but like Voldemort, he isn't human, is he? He's like this deformed. He's got quite a shrill voice in the books. Obviously, I've seen the actor who plays him in the Audible books. Again, time back to that, talks about how he was going in sort of like Ralph Fiennes, but in the books, especially like in Goblet and Order, it's not really, is it? It's quite a high pitched, shrill, sort of voices. It's not human anymore. So again, I wouldn't, if that's what they do, that's fine. I'll wait and see. Even if it gets to there, we don't know if it will. But yeah, that's the main reason. It's just they've already gone for one. I don't think they'd be able to survive a second one, especially with all the sort of connotations of it all. But yeah, like I say, quite slow in the news this week. Again, I'm sure it'll pick up in terms of like other stuff we'll see from the TV show coming forward over the next month or so. Probably a new trailer soon. Showing a bit more magic, I reckon, and sort of grandiose set pieces, and we'll see stuff like the Hogwarts. But on the TV show, it's now time to touch on how even though it's already been done, so it's pointless me doing this now, but we'll see how I break it down, and we'll come revisit this next year, see how well I've done. We'll have to remember which episode it was, which was episode 5, so let's do it. So yes, here we go, how I would do the Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone as a TV show. We know these 2 facts. It's going to be 8 hours, it's going to be 8 episodes, so an hour an episode. We've got to break this down. And obviously, before I do, let me know how you break it down yourself. Like, episode 1, I'd do this. Episode 2, just tell me how you break it down. The way I'm going to do it is, I'm going to sort of headline them as the chapters in the book. So the Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone, as a book, has 17 chapters. But the way the TV show do it, I think they'd form at least one of, of quite a few of them. So I'm going to sort of still break it down as chapters, and then I'll go into more detail how I'd do it. So episode 1, easy. I would do the first 2 chapters. We don't get to spend an hour with Vernon Dursley, with Dumbledore dropping off Harry. No. We want to get to the point just before the letters start arriving. So episode 1 for me opens with that sort of, maybe even like the wizards celebrating. I wouldn't be showing Voldemort going to the Potters. I know we sort of have seen things, but I'm thinking that's hopefully more for flashbacks, or sort of like when a bit like how the film did it, where you sort of when someone's talking, we've got a bit of a visual. I hope we don't open with the pot. I think that's something to keep a bit special, especially if they've not cast Voldemort, which for saying they haven't. It wouldn't make sense to be, here's Voldemort going to kill the Potters. I still think we open with dull grey Tuesday morning. Vernon going to work, bumping into the guy, hearing about the Potters, just that, seeing the weather report, how they do it, you want to brush that like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, that sort of opening. I would open with the wizards celebrating, this sort of rejoice, showing the wizarding world celebrating, and then we cast sort of like the Muggle world, or maybe even follow McGonagall, like going through, seeing everyone celebrate, and then she arrives at Privet Drive. So sort of like you open a bit like the films did actually, with McGonagall as the cat, but you do that, you follow them around, Harry gets delivered, we have a bit of a conversation with Hagrid, boom, 10 years pass, wake up, and this is where we sort of show Harry's life. We don't go straight into like Dudley's birthday, maybe. We do show a bit of like how Harry's life is a bit rubbish. So we sort of show the sort of stuff he does, the school's thing, the haircut. We don't hack back to it. We show that in like the first year or so, like Harry's life. Just not the first year, but like how Harry's life is at that point. We then do cut to Dudley's birthday. We see Pierce. We go to the zoo. That happens. It ends with Harry getting locked in the cupboard. Even if you could, even I know it wasn't in the book, but put it back in there. There's no such thing as magic. Boom. That's how you end episode 1. On that, you can even land on the cliffhanger of the post arrives and Harry goes to pick up the letter. You don't see it. Maybe that. I'd go as far as that. So that's like the first 2 chapters. Boy Who Lived, Vanishing Glass. Boom. Dotted off. Because we do know now, going into episode 2, we do know we're going to be seeing stuff. We've heard we're going to see Draco Malfoy's house. We're going to see Hermione getting her letter. We're going to see maybe even the Burrow. So I'm guessing you're going to be seeing all the characters getting their letters to school. So you might even start with Draco's letter arriving, Lucius being all proud and happy, well done, son, that sort of stuff. Talk about how you better be Slytherin. You then cut to Ron getting his letter, and obviously everyone making fun of him, things like that. You then cut to Hermione and McGonagall telling her the news, maybe even just a doorstep thing. Then you cut to Harry, obviously all the stuff that happens in this. You might even see like the sort of magic behind it, Dumbledore, Hagrid, like following it and making like the magic happen, eating the egg cups, in the eggs, under the, all that stuff. You then obviously have the letters coming in. You go to the you actually see the hotel. Again, I think it'd be good to extend it by showing Hagrid, or even at this point, dotting in. You maybe not open all 3 of them, so you're dotting Ron getting his letter here, Hermione sort of to extend that episode. And then, so chapter 3, get to the hut on the rock, and then we get chapter 4, the Keeper of Keys. And you obviously, you can either end on this is what I mean, episode 1 might even end on this cliffhanger of 1 hour in. You could probably get to this is what I mean. It's not half an hour, it's an hour. So I mean, even episode 1 could be Hagrid knocking on that door. Again, a good cliffhanger. You might want to group all 3 of them and get into it quite quickly. But I think then for the first 2 episodes, I think that's pretty good going, especially if we're going to see stuff we haven't seen before. Again, you think of the film. The film did the sort of Dumbledore to the snake escaping in about 8 minutes. So, there's not sometimes a lot there. So again, you might end episode 1 on Harry and Hagrid knocking on my door. In episode 2, you've got Hagrid telling him he's a wizard. The background story getting across, because if Cornelius Fudge is being announced, I reckon we're going to see him on a paper in this one, because Hagrid's reading the paper in the book on the sort of boat back to the mainland. You obviously see the underground scene with Harry talking about his parents. You've got Diagon Alley, and I think that could be a good 40. You've got Leaky Cauldron, Gringotts buying, walking around the shop buying stuff. Talk with Malfoy, I reckon that'll be in there. The Ollivander 1 scene, and then Harry getting shipped back home. I think we are going to see a bit of like the aftermath, because it was a month there. We could sort of like have 2 or 3 minutes to spend on that month and how weird it is for Harry. And then episode 2 ends getting to platform 9 3/4. But to me, that's where episode 3 would end. So you've got 3 hours of pre-Hogwarts, which seems like a lot, and that's why I think maybe even episode 2 ends there, because obviously then we're going to have I think we're gonna have more than one scene where Dumbledore goes to visit Nicholas Flamel, because one, we've got him telling him, right, moving from Stone to Hogwarts, and why. Again, John Lithgow talked about this. We're going to see the sort of what's in the wings, and you think about it, Dumbledore's got a plan here. He doesn't just randomly move it. He's aware, as we know in Deathly Hallows, Quirrell, he's up to something. That guy, he's a dodgy man. Um, so maybe we even see Quirrell trying to break into Gringotts, and maybe you incorporate that, like you actually get to see how Quirrell attempts to, because it's always like, well, what does he do? Like because we know the Goblin scratches down that, as told in the books by Griphook, if someone tried to open that door, not a Goblin, they'd be sucked in there, and they check once every 10 years. So how does he do it? Obviously he fails, and so maybe we get to see that, which would be interesting. And obviously we get to see Dumbledore maybe explain to Flamel, we're moving the stone to Hogwarts because of this. We then see another one. Oh, someone trying to break in. Look, we think it's Quirrell. We're keeping an eye on him. Then obviously we get to see him at the end, maybe talking about destroying the stone. So we get to see maybe multiple scenes of that. So maybe not just one. So then if I went on to episode 4, Dirty Platform 9 3/4, Sorting Hat, and maybe even like that beginning of Hogwarts, so, all the classes. So you sort of like maybe even have 3 chapters there in terms of Platform 9 3/4, Sorting Hat, and the Potions Master. So you sort of condense all of that into one. You then have Midnight Jewel. So episode 5 would be Midnight Jewel, so sort of Flying Class, Midnight Jewel, and the Troll. So you have Halloween in there, so you see all that. You have the Midnight Jewel, we find Fluffy. You then have the Troll. Then episode 6 would be first Quidditch match and Christmas. So you can combine them two together. So you obviously get all the first build for the first Quidditch match, play it out, how it happens. Snape cutting back and forth. And obviously we get to see a lot of stuff at Christmas, like Harry running around playing in the snow. We've got all the you got Hobology, so you can sprinkle in lessons in this one as well. It don't all have to be in that first bit, like the film does, where it's sort of just front loads like the classes when you don't really see them again. In a TV show, you can sprinkle in Herbology in this episode, History of Magic, a bit of astronomy, whatever you want to do. And then obviously you've got Christmas, you've got the Christmas presents, you've got the Christmas dinner, it's lunch itself, the sort of fun afterwards where they're running on the tables. You've got the snowball fight, and then obviously the Mirror of Erised 2 nights. So you go at the library, try to find the Mirror of Erised, see all Harry's family. Then second night he takes wrong, and then he gets the third night. He's going back again, and then obviously he's caught by Dumbledore. That's where you end episode 5 or 6. I've already lost track. I think I'm at episode 5. Then you've got episode 6, which would be Nicholas Flamel. You'd have all that sort of discovery, and obviously about Norbert as well. So you've got 2 decent bit of stuff there. And obviously within that, you've got the second Quidditch match. So you'd have back-to-back episodes with Quidditch match. So we know it's going to be the Hufflepuff match in there, which is sort of in the Nicholas Flamel chapter. Obviously when they found out about him, but then he's worried about Snape refereeing the match. You then have the sort of stuff with Norbert, and then in the next episode, so episode 7, you start to see them go up to the tallest tower, because that can be a crazy thing. How do they get Norbert from there to there? And then obviously they get caught, all the points, him, Draco, Neville, and Hermione, because it's going to be book accurate, I reckon, this time. It's not going to be Ron there, because he's going to get bit, and obviously, again, you can have that by going to the hospital in the last episode. You're then going to have, in this episode 7, go have, I believe we're on episode 7. Yep. I might mess this up, but there we go. Obviously, Forbidden Forest, all that fun stuff, and then you can even start afterwards, sort of just introduce a bit of the exam, sort of drip feed them in. And then episode 8, you can have just boom, we're into the big stuff. And you've got an hour then to do Harry figuring it out. Oh God, what it was Voldemort asking Hagrid them questions, going up to Fluffy, doing the music, Devil Snare, keys, chess, troll, potions, then Quirrell, and then just sort of like that wrap up, because there's not much of a wrap up at the end of this one. You're in the hospital wing, Dumbledore and Harry talk, Great Hall, boom, going home, meet the Dursleys, and then Harry sort of just says goodbyes there. So yeah, there you go. So to me, episode 1, again, it could be completely different. That's why I want to hear your thoughts. I'm excited to see how right I am. Episode 1, just as a quick recap, so I'll make sure I've got this right. Boy Who Lived to The Vanishing Glass. Episode 2, Letters from No One, Keeper of Keys. Episode 3, Diagon Alley. Up to getting to the journey at Hogwarts. I think you could do it now, like I say, show a lot of stuff, show the Dumbledore stuff, show how Quirrell broke in. I think that could be a thing. Like episode 4 starts with going onto the platform, Sorting Hat, and sort of the lessons. Episode 5, we've got Midnight Duel, The Troll. Episode 6, first Quidditch match, Christmas. Episode 7, second Quidditch match, start of Norbert. That's why I messed up. Yeah, so episode 6, Christmas, and then a bit of like Nicholas Flamel. Episode 7, because it's still snowing. So end of episode 7, start of episode 7, you've got second Quidditch match, Norbert getting him, Forbidden Forest. Episode 8, the big run through. So there we go. That's how I break it down. Hopefully it made sense. Let me know how you break it down below. And yeah, like I say, a bit of a short episode this one. So let's just finish on our quiz. Here we go then. Here we are on Sporkle. Like I say, this quiz will be linked down below. So this quiz has the top 200 characters mentioned in the Harry Potter books, all the way from 12 mentions all the way to 18,956 mentions. Wow, I wonder who that one could be. So we've got 18 minutes to try and name them all. And my sort of thing is just to go through book order, go through each chapter, see right who's mentioned in that book. It does accept last name, so when we put, for example, Potter, James Potter, Lily Potter, stuff like that's going to be filled up. Same with the Weasleys. So, for example, Charlie doesn't get mentioned until a bit later on in sort of, but actually it's in the same chapter. But there we go. So, like I say, we'll go through this. My keyboard is a bit to the right of me, so it might be a bit messy. This you might see my head sort of dipping out, but again, let me tell me down below how many you got. Let's start. So we get to meet the Dursleys, and then we meet the Potter, or hear about the Potters. We then get Dumbledore and McGonagall, and then she mentions Diggle, and we hear about Hagrid. And then we meet, he lings his back from Sirius Black. So we're already up to 20 there, 10th of the way through. And that should, and then we hear obviously about Riddle. So I'm going to put Riddle because his mum and stuff, or Tom Riddle Sr. So there we go. Hear about the Riddles. We're then going to chapter 2 where we meet Polkiss, Fig, Mrs. Fig. We obviously hear about Mrs. Fig. So we got Polkiss. Anyone else? Marge. Oh, we've already got Marge because of Dursley, haven't we? So that's that for that one. So in chapter 3, we hear about Dennis. Oh, he's put Dennis Creevy, never mind. And a few of these other mates, but there we go. We then go into chapter 4 where he talks about the Bones and McKinnis. Okay, then we go to chapter 5. So we'll go hear about Tom the Barman. We meet Crockford. She's not one. Quirrell, he's definitely one. We then go to Grip Hook because, yep, Gringotts, Mulking, Madam Mulking, Ollivander. Is it double L? This is what I mean. Oh, God, my spelling's going to let me down. Florian. Is that one? Florian Fortescue? No? Okay. Are there any other shots we go to? Ilops, Malfoy. We meet Malfoy there. And then, obviously, we get onto Weasley. We meet Granger, Longbottom, Jordan, Crab, Goyle. We meet Scabbers. Oh, Hedwig, of course, Hedwig. This is what I mean. The animals I'm always going to forget about. I'm just going to put Errol in there just for now, just because I remembered him. So we meet Granger, we meet the Weasleys, and then we get to the sorting, where I'm going to go through the teachers first of all. So Flitwick, who else will be there? Sprout, Sinestra. Nope. Vector. Okay. Sorting Hat himself. I'm guessing that counts as a character. What? The Sorting Hat doesn't get mentioned more than 12 times. I find that inexcusable. Anyway, so then we've got Brown, we've got Boot, we've got Thomas, we've got Finnegan, we have Bulstrode, we have Parkinson, Patil, Macmillan. Is it Macmillan? I'm just going to put Ernie. We also have, think of other ones, Fletcher. Fletchley. No, it's Fletcher. I didn't mean Fletcher. I meant Fletchley. Okay, I'll just put Justin. Hopefully that works. Who else do we have? Oh, what other students? So I've got Brown, Abbott, and Bones. I think I've already done Bones. Yep, so perfect. Abbott, Bones, Zabini. And I think that is it. So then we go to the classes. We've got Snape, of course. I forgot about Severus Snape, which is embarrassing. So then got classes. You got Flitwick, Snape, McGonagall, Sprout, Sinestra, and then we go to Flying, so Hooch, and then Fluffy. And so that's a character. Fang we meet. And then we go boo boo boo. It's Christmas, so Flamel, Nicholas Flamel. Oh, Pinks and Filch, and Mrs. Norris. And then we got the ghost, Nick. Grey. Okay, you know what? Gryffindor. Yep. Slithering. Salazar. Don't like one exception. Slytherin there. Ravenclaw. Hufflepuff. Friar. Nope. Baron. Peeves. Fat Lady. Yep. And then we got the Gryffindor Quick Team. Wood. Bell. Johnson. Spinette. And then Flint. What's he called? Higgins. Terry Higgins. Okay. Montague. I don't know if he's on the first in this one, but there we go. I know he's a character. Montague. And then, so we got done Quidditch, we got the Snitch, met Fluffy, met Fang, then we got the Centaur, so, Firenze, Bane, Morrigan, is it I forgot what the other one's called. Oh, that's going to annoy me. And then you go through the trapdoor. Boom. Right. Number 2, we got the Masons, Dobby, Borging, Burke, and then Lockhart, Creevy. I know we got Dennis, but we need Colin. Is the Willow character, for one thing, Willow? I didn't think he would be. Who else gets in second year? We've got Ginny, obviously. We got Riddle, Myrtle. Did I do Peeves? I can't remember. Must have done. Perfect. What's he called? Headless Hunkman. God, he's in the. Oh, it'll come back to me. I don't think he'll have been mentioned more than 12 times, though. Who else gets petrified? Clearwater. She gets mentioned surely more than 12 times. You tell me Penelope Clearwater doesn't get. Wow. Anyone else? Aragog? Budge? We're doing well. Fudge. Anyone else in that one? Sorry. Goes to Azkaban. You go to the forest. Eat slugs. Blah blah blah. No, I don't think you meet any of the other governors. So there we go. On to number 3. Obviously, we've got Lupin. We have Crookshanks. We get Cho Chang in this one. I think we also get Diggory. So Diggory. I missed Sybil. I'm just going to put Sybil because I can't be able to spell Trelawney. Any other new teachers? Buckbeak. He'll be a character, surely. Buckbeak, he is. We got Looping. We got Rosmerta. Anyone else in Hogsmeade? I don't believe so. You got Shrieking Shark. Blah blah blah. We got Looping. Any other characters I might have missed? So Boo, Macmillan. I'm trying to think all the other thing it's game here. So you got Michael Corner, just so I get him. Terry Boot, and who's the other one? So you got Terry Boot and Smith. We'll just put Smith in because Zachariah. So I'm trying to think Terry Boot, Michael Corner, and who's the other one? Goldstein, Anthony. Okay, let me try gold. Sting. Nope. Okay. Then on to Goblet of Fire. We meet Diggory, Skeeter. Let's just put Del Accor. Crumb. I reckon Morang, Troy, Mullet, Roberts, Mr. Roberts. Does he get mentioned? Oh, he does. And then we've got, so Creevy gets sorted. You've got Karkaroff, Maxime, Olymp, Maxime. We got Fleur. We got Crumb, Moody, Crouch, Bagman, Rookwood gets mentioned, obviously. Anyone else in the sort of memories? Ooh, I don't believe so there. I think we've got all the good ones. Let me just run through one last time. So, Goblet of Fire opens at that. Oh, Frank Bryce. 63 times Frank Bryce gets mentioned. Blooming hell. Other the woman Wormtail runs into. What's she called? She's missing. Who is she? He runs into her. Oh, okay, it'll probably come back to me. So Umbridge, let's just do this. Umbridge. Anyone else in number 5? We got Fletcher. I did Diggle. Bones, Smith. Dodge. Elphias Dodge. Anyone else? Creature. Oh, Winky. That's a good one. So we're at 131. Let's just run through and then let's just go Slughorn. I'm just going to do ones I know now. Carrows, any other Death Eaters, Lestrange, Nagini. We give the Carrows, Dolohov. Come on, we've still got loads. 137. So Pig Widging. Ferenza, Slughorn, Demelza Roberts. Have I already got her? Demelza, Jimmy Peaks, Bogrod. We're 140. I want to get 40 more. Travers. Yep. Barbage, Charity. Fenrir. 356. I've missed 2 quite big ones. Have I missed any other teachers? So Umbridge, I think you got Snape and Slughorn. That's going to annoy me. And then we got like 120. We've missed some pretty big ones. So let's go back. So we're Philosopher Stone, Dursley's Dumbledore. We've got 6 minutes. Dursley's Dumbledore, McGonagall, Hagrid, which we've all got. Bagman. Any other ministry? Shackle Kingsley. Tonks. 356 though. I'm just going to put Edge, Forks, Sorting Hat. I'm sure of a Sorting Hat. Why doesn't a Sorting Hat count as a character? Anyone else friends with Dumbledore? Anyone else friends with Dumbledore? People in the order. So you got Sirius Black, you got the original one, you got the Pause. I've done Looping, haven't I? Yep. Done Dobby, done Winky, done Crouch. Anyone in the Quidditch team I've missed out? I mean, yeah, like these 21, like we've got loads left. I'm so annoyed. So then Chamber of Secrets, you meet Dobby, Masons, Weasleys. You got Flourish and Blots. You obviously Borg and Burke. We got Borgie and Burke. Gong. The Bob Ogden. I loved Bob. Got Hepzibah Smith. We got Hawkeye the House Elf. Anyone else? Cole, Mrs. Cole. Anyone else from Half-Blood Prick? Stan Shumpike. We're up at 154. We're doing well now. Back on track. Number 4. There's got to be people in number 4 I'm missing. So Meringue, Troy, Mullet, Karkaroff, Moody. I've definitely done Moody, haven't I? Yep. You meet Skeeter. Again, I've got her. Oh, Lovegood. That'll be who it is. God's sake. How can I miss Luna Lovegood? Oh, that's embarrassing. Anyone else in me or be in that? Weasley's Jordan. Oh, I know. Cattlemole, Mary, Reg. What's he called? Who Harry is? Some Falder, Mafalda. The Warlock. Perkins. No. Scabia. He's another one. Look at that, we're 160. Get 20 more in 3 minutes. I doubt I am. Any other animals I might be missing? Any other animals? Fig. I know I'm missing, like, obviously the centaur. I'm missing the guy Harry turns into. I don't know why my mind's going blank. Normally, I think it's just the pressure of a quiz. Normally, I'd be like, well, how could you forget that? But I really am. So we've got Aunt Muriel. Let's just put Frank. Let's just put Tom. Kev. Any other shops in Hogsmeade I might have missed? No. Mundungus, Fletcher. Any teachers at Hogwarts? So we've got Sprout. I mean, 156 and 153. That's a lot of mentions. Scrimgeour. Speaking of him. Eyes 150 seems flat. Wow. That seems a lot for him. I'd definitely put Fudge. Smith. Yeah, I got Zachariah Smith. 49. Wow, we're 161. I'm struggling now. I'm going to look at something and be like, how did I forget that? Ghosts. Anyone in Tom's Riddle's memories or Slughorn's memories? Who might have been mentioned with, like, in the Slug Club? Oh, Belby. Marcus Belby. Cormac. There we go. We're getting up there. Angelique Johnson, Katie Bell, Spinner. Oh no, I've already done the Patil Twins, haven't I? Yep. Weird Sisters. No. Bings, Professor Bings, Cuthbert Bings. Right, Fat Lady, Violet. No. No, I've already Dippet. Amanda Dippet would have been one. Yep. Eckhart. Runghorn, that's what he's called. Albert Runghorn. There we go. 166. We got a minute left. Wow. I just don't know. Bagshot. Scaman. No, not new. Any other ones that might have been mentioned? Gamp. Is Gamp law? Does that apply? Nope. Anyone else? 156. I'm gonna be shocked at somebody. It's like 75. It's a lot of times mentioned. 56, 57. Maybe people at the wedding. I've not thought of. I know there's a few Order of the Phoenix members I'm missing. the one who takes like Harry's, like the Dursleys away. I can picture a face. I just can't remember. I'm picturing a Lego. I just can't remember it. Any Ministry employees, not that I can think of. There we go. Pomfrey, Grope, Norbert, Grubbly Plank, Yaxley, Grigorovich, Warrington, Ronan. That's what I was thinking of. Circa Duggan, Dirk Cresswell, Sturgis Podmore, Bode, McNair, Davis, Liang, Pies Thickness, Dawlish, Marchbanks, Trevor Toad, Ramilda Vane. Oh, is this one? I missed two. Ronan and Megorian. That's it. I would not have guessed Beethoven as a character. Aidan Lynch. It's Demelza Robbins, not Roberts. I said her. I'm going. You know what? That's Heskia Jones. That's the one. Hassan Mustafa. He's the referee again. Would have got that. Pusey. That's who I was thinking of earlier. Carcass again. Tofty and Twycross. Oh, wow. Bertha Jorkins. That's what she's bloody called. Oh, that's annoying. Average score 56. I got 84. I'll take that. Let me know what you got though, guys. And yeah, let's get to the outro. As Gilderoy Lockhart once said, spooky how fast time flies when one's having fun. But there we go. Another end to another episode of the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed. As always, leave a like, subscribe, share, come join the Discord, all that fun. And of course, come back Friday where we will be deep in the realms of Chapter 3 of Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone, the letters from Noone. But until then, goodbye.